So Nick and I had we had a
Mm.
funny chat about Paperclip, and I saw that it was a groundbreaking thing, a huge thing, and I was like, I better check this out. So I had to look into it, and my experience as a user when I opened Paperclip was, first of all, my brain melted when I looked at the interface, and I was like, okay, hang on, like, what am I looking at right now? So I went into it, and it was like, it was this idea of, this is right here, this is my head of marketing, this is Steve, he looks after my PR, this is Roger, he's my head of sales. I was like, okay. So I looked into it, and like, honestly, after playing around with it, I was like, I don't get it. Like, I think I respect the fact that it's been built. I love it. I love the entrepreneurialism of it. I think as a product to use right now, I wouldn't go for it. I think it's overdone. And I actually wonder as well, the people that cover it, I always wonder these things, the people who cover it, are you actually using it like regularly? Like when the video shuts down and there's no like lights or camera on, like is Paperclip the thing that you're running up to manage your world? I don't know. I mean, I think we talked a lot about this, didn't we, bro? This idea of like setup porn. It was what happened with N8N like 8 months ago, where the whole of LinkedIn, if you remember, essentially was like, this 700 node flow runs my life. And then it basically was just like, the bigger the flow, the more almost like of an expert you were, because it was just so complicated.
It's the size of the flow.
Yeah, so it's great for capturing attention, but I think a lot of people are asking, great, we set it up, now what does it do? Because it's all kind of like concept porn, isn't it? It's all kind of like, well, what we could potentially do perhaps is to bring a head of marketing and give him 2 marketing agents, and it's like, okay, great. What does this unlock? What is this now doing that it wasn't doing before? And I think that's the big question with stuff like this. So the Paperclip thing, dude, I must admit, I'm not on Team Paperclip at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. We literally had a text exchange I was just pulling up where Jack said he was going to do a video on it, but it didn't really feel right about how bad it was specifically. And then I was like, yes. And then you said Paperclip is setup porn. And then I said, bro, don't do this. Don't give me the perfect packaging to make this video.
Dude, oh my gosh, dude.
Jack was like, go for it, man. And then I did. But like this whole idea of these setups just dances around the core issue, which is that you're just not doing anything.
Yeah.
And in the past, if you didn't do anything, you had no excuse. But now you have a bunch of excuses. You have like these shiny objects that you can play around with, and these feel productive, but they're not productive. It's like setting up your website for 17 hours, and then it's just like, oh, nice job, man. That's a really beautiful, gorgeous website. Nice funnel, man. That's super optimized, strategic. Cool. Yeah. So how many people visited your website in the last month? 2? It's like, you're really going to wrangle those 2 people in with your CRO. It's like, that's obviously not the point where you need to be focusing on. The vast majority of people out there, just like literally out there, struggle with the ability to generate qualified opportunities. That's like lead gen. That's the very first big hurdle, right? And so most of those people are unfortunately not focusing on that first hurdle, which is how to generate qualified opportunities. They're focusing like 100 steps downstream on like how to optimize my project management setup to build XYZ systems faster. Why are you solving that? You don't have any people that want you to build XYZ systems, right? Like that's not the problem.
That's not the problem.
So that's what it is.
It is. And
it looks nice.
On paper, it's very intriguing because I think it taps into the desire everyone has. I have to pull up the fact that Johnson Huang did a podcast, NVIDIA CEO, did a podcast with Lex Friedman. I don't know if you saw this or not, bro. He had a fascinating take on company structure. Typically speaking, you have the CEO who has like 5 reports, who in turn have 5, and so on and so on. He has 60 reports. 60 experts. One guy is like an expert in memory. One guy is an expert in computer hardware, and so on and so on and so forth. He has no one-to-ones with any of them. And his idea is that the philosophy of CEO, CFO, CTO is antiquated. And that actually, that every organizational structure should look different because the organization itself serves to deliver the product to the consumer. And whatever that product is, should drive the org structure. So we're kind of forcing a kind of 1980s corporate style business philosophy into the most powerful technology we've ever seen ever. And that might be the case that it's not the right way to do it at all. So we have to kind of challenge our thinking on that. But the thing about Jensen, dude, not to drag us off in a direction on off what could have been an email thing, is that he is a real first principles thinker. We should come back to that later. But yeah, it's a very good point. I agree.
Yeah, which runs at odds with, a couple of my beliefs surrounding OpenClaw, NemoClaw, and whatnot. The fact that he, came out in like massive support for this thing and called it like the next layer of the internet. I'm just like, am I the villain here? Have you guys, I don't know if you've ever seen this, like there's this funny YouTube video where it's like, are we the baddies? It's like, kind of feel like, am I the baddie here? I am a baddie, but not that kind of baddie. Anyway, He's a brilliant guy. And I think, the point that I'm continually going to go back to that you expressed very eloquently is just like, start with like the first principle, inductive reasoning as opposed to deductive. Don't try and like fit everything into like known patterns. Just ask yourself, like, is this thing actually required? If it is not actually required, then why are we doing it?
100%. I can agree more with that.